Hey guys, welcome to the first installment of a potentially new weekly series on the channel. I've asked you guys if you have any questions for me you would like to be featured and addressed in a YouTube video. Here is said video. If this goes well, please leave a comment on this YouTube video with a question that you would like to be answered for a future installment. But without further ado, let's just get straight to it. First question's from the Ginger Wig. Shout out to him. Where do you see Morgan Gibbs-White fitting in at City? He's not fitting in, he's rubbish. I think that in the main, he's probably going to play as an 8. Pep's spoken about how he wants more athletes in that midfield, more powerful carriers. That makes a lot of sense. We know the issues with City this season have been exactly that. Not enough physicality in there. Gibbs-White does offer that. De Bruyne is leaving. Is Gibbs-White going to replace De Bruyne perfectly? No, but he is a very good ball carrier. De Bruyne was a very good ball carrier, so it does make sense. He is also very versatile, so he can play, alongside Rodri if need be. He could play as the 10. But I think more than likely, especially if City are getting averts, I think that we will mainly see Morgan Gibbs-White in the midfield, probably more so as an 8. Think of it maybe as a Gundogan alternative. A lot of our midfielders this season, Gundogan included, have really struggled to get into the box, to crash it late on, to be there for those crosses of like a Doku, for example. Gibbs-White can be that player. So that's where I see him fitting in. Zubair asks, as Gibbs-White is close to signing with us, what are your thoughts on adopting a 4-2-3-1 formation next season, featuring 3 attack midfielders, Marmoush, Gibbs-White and Foden, supported by a double pivot of Rodri and Nico G, Haaland as the striker. I'd have Doku and Savio as super subs, and I would implement a more midfielder-focused system. A couple of people have been asking about, could Haaland play in this new system that City have been playing? So maybe I'll try to address both at the same time. I will just say that, interestingly, Zubair hasn't included Wirtz in here. That deal seems to be potentially happening. So if Wirtz did end up signing, then this adds another dimension to it, because you couldn't have, Haaland and Marmoush and Wirtz and Gibbs-White and Foden all in the same team. I think that would be very tricky, unless, in fairness, you had, Gibbs-White in that more Nico G position. So actually, maybe it would work, but then you're just dropping Nico G, not necessarily a problem. But could that work? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Certainly on ball. What would need to happen, though, is we'd need to get the fullback signings in the summer absolutely spot on. We need a left back who's offensively comfortable, basically pushing up to left wing to allow the false winger system on that left side. Ditto at right back. You need a right back who's really comfortable going to right wing, again, allowing who is ever the right wing off ball. Let's say Foden in this case, that's the example there, or Marmoush on that left side, to allow them to actually go into the centre a little bit more. I'd probably prefer it if we're using the Wirtz example. Again, going back to that 4-2-2 we have been using in recent weeks. You could have, Haaland and Marmoush as your 2 strikers. You could have behind them double 10s of Foden and Wirtz. I think that's probably the ceiling of that sort of situation with those 2 in the side. And then behind them, like a Rodri and a Nico G, or a Rodri and a Morgan Gibbs-White, that sort of thing. And again, the width is provided by those fullbacks, so they have to be very good offensively. I don't see why it wouldn't work on ball. You've got a lot of threats there. You've got, especially if you bring in, let's say, a Cambiasso, you've got a really good creative fullback there who's a fantastic crosser of the ball as well. If you can get someone like that at right back, that means you've got creativity and threats out wide. You've obviously got it in the centre with a Foden and the Wirtz as well. And of course, Haaland and Marmoush. I don't see it being a problem on ball. Off ball is maybe where it's a bit more of a concern if we are reintroducing Haaland, because as much as I do love him, one of the main reasons why this shape has been working, for the most part, there have been some issues, but for the most part, why has it been working? It is because of the energy levels and the input from those forward players in particular. When we press out in a 4-2-4, those 4 players have been fantastic off ball in respect of their pressing. It's something Marmoush is naturally wonderful and fantastic at Foden as well, Savio as well, maybe Haaland less so. Maybe we would need to see a bit more endeavour from Haaland in respect of the pressing for it to work. But in theory, I don't see why it wouldn't work, and I'd love to see it given a go. IDK asks, are you actually a lawyer? If yes, where did you study it, and what made you pursue this instead of just being a lawyer? I'll address the second bit of that question at a later date, but yes, I am a lawyer. Sam asks, do you think Pep's insistence on Foden learning Pausa has stifled/derailed his development? I don't think so. I think that if anything, that's probably something which is to his benefit long term. If you ask me what is Foden's true ceiling, if you could start from he's the base of your team. Where would you play him? I'd probably try to play him how Pedri is used at Barcelona. Now, I'm not saying that they share the exact same attributes, but there is quite a lot of crossover there. And I have seen Foden do that a number of times, despite people trying to suggest erroneously that he is, this sort of forward player or like a second striker or whatever. That's just objectively incorrect and quite erroneous. Again, there were times last season where he was literally dropping deep into his own box to pick up the play and get City up the pitch with that passing and with that carrying and that really nice, intricate first touch play. I do think that the best Foden you are going to see is one that has as many touches as possible. And I think that he's going to do that more so in that sort of position. So I don't think it's a Pausa problem. I would say, however, as much as I adore Guardiola, etc., I would say that Pep has not done him any favours by deciding that he can play anywhere. Left wing, fine. Right wing, fine. Striker, fine. False 9, fine. Second striker, fine. 10, fine. 8, fine. There has to be some sort of consistency here, and I get it that at the time you couldn't justify starting Foden over, De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, whatever, but it's not really helping in respect of the consistency element. We actually had some consistency last season with the positions he was picking up in the centre, and it worked perfectly well and it worked perfectly fine. So I think that if we want to see the best version of Foden going forwards, just pick a position and decide that is the position he's going to play, rather than just going, well, he's so versatile and so intelligent that he can actually play on the left or on the right or whatever, so long as the circumstances are there for it. So I would actually say that maybe Foden's versatility has maybe hindered him more so than Pep trying to teach him Pausa, etc. And again, I don't even know where that's come from. I would actually argue he already has that, but there we go. Shameless Plug asks, where did you get that beautiful t-shirt? I'm so glad you asked, Shameless Plug, who is definitely a real commenter and not something that I've just invented right now. As you can see, I'm sporting a beautiful blue moon top. This is exclusive LNobbins merchandise. The link is in the video description. It's also on the screen right now. Go visit the Knob shop if you want to support your boy and also get some wonderful, unique Nobbins designed attire or Bold Fraud posters. Link in the video description and on the screen. Go buy it now. W Donkey asks, what's the best way to learn tactics in the game as a beginner? What sources did you look at to understand the basics and do more than just watch the football? So the first thing I would say is read the work of people who actually know what they're talking about. Watch videos from people who they know what they're talking about. Your boy, for example. Watch all my videos, but also read stuff as well. So I follow a lot of people on Twitter who do know what they're talking about. So off the top of my head, people like False Winger, Near Post. Who else am I following on Twitter? Sky Blue Times. There's also Akraf, who's a fantastic analyst in my view. Connor Holden, if you want more of a Chelsea focus. Basically, just go to whoever I'm following, and if they are like a football writer or analyst, they are quite good. So read their work would be the thing to do, and then try to see where they're coming from. See if you agree as well. And then let's say that, I don't know, let's say that you are an Arsenal fan. Watch a game. Yeah, probably be disappointed based on this season, but watch a game in full and then watch it again. So for example, when I'm trying to analyze a game, I will go, right, there's team A, there's team B. Formations aren't the be all and end all, but they really help me as a structure and a starting point. How is team A setting up off ball and on ball? How is team B doing the same? Is this what team A typically does? Is this what team B typically does? If so, why? If not, why? Is it something the other team is doing? Is it a particular instruction by the coach? And then try to ask yourself questions of, well, why is that actually happening? So example, City against Wolves recently. Normally it's been Nico O'Reilly providing the width on that left side for the past few weeks, but this time it was Doku providing that width. Okay. So why would Pep do that first of all? And then what were the knock-on effects? Because City played worse, to be honest with you. Is that Doku's fault? Is it Pep's fault? Is it O'Reilly's fault? Because they were playing in different areas. Why would you want Doku on the wing instead of O'Reilly? Probably because you want Doku to be isolated 1v1 so he can beat his fullback. Okay, that makes sense. What's the trade-off though? Because normally it's been Nico O'Reilly, so that's a good thing of Doku being in that area. What was the trade-off though? Because City were playing worse. Well, it meant that he had O'Reilly, instead of providing the width on that left side, he had him more tucked into in the half space area and just like the general midfield area as well. He struggled more so there. Why did he struggle? Totally different position than what he's been playing the past few weeks, inexperience as well. So what I've done there, very basic example, I've done more than just describe and gone, well, Doku's playing out wide. The team are now playing bad. That's descriptive and also like an incorrect conclusion as well. Alternatively, explain, analyze, go one step further. So always ask yourself why. Why is that happening? And why is he doing that? And why are they doing that? And why they're setting up like this? There's always a reason. You know, managers don't just do things for the sake of it. If Pep changes something in the game, or I nearly said Arsene Wenger there, if Arteta changes something in the game or sets up in a particular way, even if it doesn't work, it was for a reason. So always try to ask yourself why, and try to figure out what the reason was. Final question is from Doku Enjoyer 11. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. And also, if you want your comment addressed in a future video, please leave a comment in this video. I've had so many comments here, I can't get through all of them, but thank you guys so much for this. Hopefully you think it's a good idea. This is from Doku Enjoyer 11. How many Nobbinses would it take to beat a gorilla? Now, you haven't actually specified what event I'm going to beat the gorilla in. You have, however, said, I want you to break it down like you're analysing a football match. So I'm guessing you mean, you know, the classic, 100 humans versus a gorilla who wins in a fight sort of thing. I don't know how much I weigh exactly. A gorilla weighs around like between 350 to 450 pounds, something like that. So again, don't know exactly how heavy I am. Just for the purposes of maths, let's say I weigh 150 pounds. And let's say that this gorilla is on the bigger side and it's 450 pounds, right? So that means it takes 3 Nobbinses to match a gorilla in respect of mass. So if there are 30 versions of Nobbins, that means that it is 10 times as many. What would the tactics be? I reckon 50. I reckon 50 of me could do it. Here's the strategy. We're going to overload to isolate. Now, what do I mean by that? We're going to throw in an auxiliary wave of me, sacrificial lambs, basically, maybe like 5 or so. Gorillas have not evolved in the same way as humans, whereby humans have a lot of stamina and cardio endurance. And I'm quite good at that, to be fair. So I reckon you send a couple of sacrificial lambs in, pawns, whatever, and then that tires out the gorilla a little bit, also panics it a little bit as well. So it's now making bad decisions as well. Whilst that is happening, overload to isolate and a classic Julius Caesar pincer movement. Yeah. We're going to have, but in a pentagonal shape. So we're going to have, maybe 55 then, maybe 55 Nobbinses, because we're going to have the 5 ones that get sacrificed, yeah? And then whilst the gorilla's distracted, like ripping the limbs off them, whatever, you're going to have this pentagonal system where you're going to have 5 groups of 10 all running in and all at once in a pincer movement, as I say. 10 for the left arm, 10 for the right arm, 10 for the left leg, 10 for the right leg, 5 to jump on top of it, yeah, like a dog pile situation. And whilst they're doing this, they're also like biting and punching and kicking and you swearing at it, saying, you're rubbish. You're going to say stuff like that as well. Really nasty things, psychological warfare and all that. And then the other 5 are just going to be, they'll just be going to town on the face. There's going to be kicking. There's going to be eye poking and gouging and all that sort of thing. So basically you've got 45 versions of me, all latched on top of the gorilla, weighing it down again just by virtue of mass. They aren't strong enough to lift up like 50 me's. It's just not happening. So that happens, and whilst it's weighed down, as I say, the other 5 will just be going to town on the face. So I reckon 55 could do it of me, and again, that's with the power of strategy and tactics. Great questions, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, please let me know if you did enjoy this style of video, and I will keep making them for you. I really like engaging with you guys and answering your questions. If you have any questions for a future video, please leave them in a comment to this video with like a hashtag #AskNobbins, something like that, just so it's really searchable for me. Shout out also to my wonderful and beautiful members on YouTube, my supporters on Patreon as well. Their names are on the screen right now. If you'd like to support your boy, you can either buy a shirt or a poster, of course, but you can also just become a member of the channel. The link to support, as always, is in the video description. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day, and I'll catch you next time.